This is Kathy Chase. This is a very important thing. I talked about the Alice in Wonderland thing through the looking glass, and how because of social things, people want to label me as a nobody or whatever, and try to label me as Rudolph or something, using cartoons and saying that I'm not real so they can snub me off, you know. At the Lincoln Capitol building, I talked about the hooker thing on the doorway. You know, you play hooky from school, you skip school, right? Well, I'm not actually enrolled in school, and I'm not enrolled into the military, but on the 14th floor there is a picture, and it's titled "With Malice Toward None," with charity. Charity, you have the char in it, and then the it, char and it in it, by Stephen Roberts. It's on the 14th floor. And as I talked about this whole Humpty Dumpty thing, and you know, my name and so forth, AWOL doesn't apply to me because I'm not supposed to be at a post, and I'm not with the postage department people that are have gone crazy trying to ship me off using all these crazy ideas, because they actually committed war crimes against me and my body. You can't use High Street and a beer, Miller Genuine Draft, or drafts in doorways or windows to premeditate a declaration of war on a civilian, harmless civilian, mother of three and her 3 children. You can't premeditate a war against a mother and 3 children. And if you just saying, oh, well, we declared war on you. On what grounds? Because you broke laws against me? That you premeditated? Using, leap year? We're in leap year. Everybody can see this premeditation. As I talked about 14th Street, Pegler, Cisco, the state penitentiary, and the Nebraska Department of Roads, and the Nebraska State of Patrol. 14th Street leads to War Lick, correct? Well, everybody knows, everybody's always heard the whole, I don't know if it's true or not, if you lick certain toads, you get, you can have an LSD effect, from that. And I said, well, you know, soldiers, like, I don't consider myself a soldier, but I've been treated. What I've endured is probably, you know, why I have post-traumatic stress disorder. And people who get post-traumatic stress disorder are usually been in wartime. You know, they've had flashbacks. And the only other way you can get flashbacks is by doing LSD, but I've never had an LSD flashback. When we did a little bit of it during high school, the last year of high school. And I had postpartum depression with my oldest daughter and my son. I had postpartum depression. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 14 years. I'm a harmless human being, and I've already proved and linked their numbers to these other people. So, you know, they had no grounds to declare war, and you can't premeditate, you can't premeditate a war on a mother and her 3 children, because you actually committed those war crimes against me and my bodies and my children, me and my children, without consent. And I didn't even know they were there, and you used trickery and all this other stupid stuff. I'm not AWOL. I'm not military. And I don't think people in the military appreciate you labeling me as military because you've broken laws against me in my life and premeditated crimes against me in my life for your communistic ventures and to instill oppression onto the people, and you play mind wars and all this other stupid stuff. I'm a harmless individual. I'm a harmless mother of 3. I love my children, and all I want is to live a normal life like everybody else. Everybody deserves to live their own lives and to be able to choose their own fates and not have people thinking they're better and above everybody else, to think that they're socially more better than say, for example, they think they're better than the military. They think they're better than police, because that's the other insult that I get. Sometimes they'll label me, I think I'm labeled sometimes as military, or sometimes I'm labeled as like a pig, like a cop. And those are the hardest working people in the United States. And for you to, the people that actually, they work hard for their money and they don't get paid enough. They get underpaid and underappreciated. And I'm not your toy soldier. I'm not your G.I. Joe, Cup of Joe. As I said, these people are sick. Grand Island, Nebraska. The initials are G.I., 8 County. And, I find this very disturbing and very sad that they sit there and call me names with knowing what they've done. And they have no compassion for other people's lives or respect for other people's lives and other than their rights to choose their lives freely without interruption, without other people tampering with their bodies, and which is considered taboo. To, you know, as I said, there was the thumb war, race war thing, or from what I gather, trying to use like the sideways socks. You know how you wear socks and you get holes in them, try to play holy wars or race wars, or basically terrorize my life. And earlier today I thought, well, you know, Barack Obama, the definition to his name, you know, I've been over several times. And then I've gone over the fact that I think his real name is Sotero. S-O-T-R-O. So, terrorize? I don't know. People say he's from the Philippines, and then he moved to Hawaii, and his mother slept with a U.S. military man or something like that, and that's where that all derived from. I don't wear suspenders like Urkel. You know how in the 70s they'd wear rainbow suspenders. Suspension bridges. I said they're crazy. I'm not persecutable by any laws, federal, state, or of any sort, by death, because of the fact that what's happened to me is I'm a victim, and they have to go by the facts. I'm a victim, and they wanted to use me in my life maliciously. They plan the malicious current scenario upon my life, and everybody can see that. And that's you know, just like the thing says, with malice toward none. He ignores me. People ignore me, as far as the people that shouldn't. And I tried to be very nice in the beginning, but you know, as I realized what was happening, I realized that this would, you know, as I saw the premeditation and all this other stuff, you know, and things that they tried to blame me for, which they failed. And You know, there's songs about needing somebody to abuse, or I don't know why they think they have to issue somebody to abuse, and they were going to set up Autumn for the next one to replace me as the person to abuse, and they had some sort of plans for her, I don't know, 20, 30 years from now, and they're not going to be able to do it, and they think they're going to kill her and try to cover it up along with me, because the whole saying, kill two birds with one stone. And Edgar Allan Poe, To Kill a Mockingbird, you know, as I said, they mock me, and they taunt me and harass me. They harass me in forms in which state of Nebraska can't really be harassing me. They use social services and that sort of thing. And there have been people who have relieved themselves of their duties and passed on to other people because they don't want to be doing what they've been doing to me. I'm not responsible for what people have done to my body and put into my body. You can't, where do you get this AWOL thing from? I'm not military. You can't draft me. You can't make up some declaration of war premeditated against somebody who's absolutely harmless and who's more American than you. You've got to turn it around. You're the traitor to your country. You're the ones who planned this. You're the ones who used trickery, knowing that I didn't know I had this stuff in my body. And you're the traitors. I am not. I will not allow you to desecrate my life along with the flag of the United States of America. I think you're sick. I think you need some serious mental help, and I think you qualify for Section 8. And I'm not talking about housing, and I'm talking about Section 8 as in obviously queer, with the using Corporal Klinger from Seoul, Korea, and MASH, because, you know, evidently you're cross-dressers or something, and you believe in putting women and children who are girls first, women and children first. That's queer. That's called queer. Doing stuff to women and their children is considered queer. Women and children first. Taking that totally backwards. And that's so sick. You're so sick in your head. I did nothing to any of these people. I was going about my life. I lived a very quiet, normal life, but, you know, nobody knew who I was. And, I lived a very quiet life. I don't like, everybody always knew I didn't like drama. And I didn't like problems. I'm not a person who likes, I don't like people antagonizing problems. I'm not a person, people knew that that you know, I was kind of a pushover, so to speak, at one time, where, you know, people would kind of walk all over me because I was so good to people, and people would take advantage of that from me. I've actually saved people's lives. I don't hurt people. I've actually saved people. I've donated blood. Not because I've done anything wrong. I've donated blood. I've looked out for people, whether they have appreciated it or not. My mother at times, and Chase Spicer, but not that matters. Chase Spicer is no longer a part of my life. And my mom, I don't really talk to her too much. She's not quite she don't quite understand things because she's very uneducated, and she's very my mom's got some, I think, mental health problems herself, and she don't understand the full scenario of things. Anyways, she don't understand. You know, people in the family don't understand what an insult this is to the family name, to try to play war games and try to make me out to be bad. And they don't understand how, some people might not understand the full aspect of things. But to have people want to use my life to desecrate their family names and that sort of thing, I don't know why they would want that. They've used family names other than the Eggers and the Robins in the family. I know my father's side, Eggers' side, there's the Stoodhite family, which I think they got the little tall thing from Alice in Wonderland thing with the Jefferson Starship song. The song is called White Rabbit, and Rob bought me a white cabriolet Volkswagen at one time, but I haven't had that car in years. I had that while I worked at CBA, but he drives a white Volkswagen Golf 1996 VR6. Anyways, whole Alice in Wonderland, through the looking glass, and preconceived, using the plaque on the 14th floor of the Capitol building here in Lincoln, with malice toward none, with charity, by Stephen Roberts, Stephen Roberts, 14th floor. And then I talked about 14th Street. And then 8th Street, of course, is the 1400 block going from east to west. And then ABCs have 26 letters. Cheney, Nebraska, 68526. And then they use it into my social security number for their fraud. And then, of course, you know, Legos, you build things with Legos. Like, you can build walls or whatever, you can build whatever. But the first toy that you use is, like blocks. You know, wood blocks with the alphabet on them, of course. That's one of the first childhood toys. And I talked about Scott Street over, by Southeast and the other streets. But there's another street called Prescott, as in, like, these people are in preschool. Prescott, P-R-E, and then spelled Scott. And I don't know what schools are connected to that totally. It might be Prescott, or, you know, Prescott. I can look at it as Prescott because, you know, you have color by numbers and preschool type things, and you know, we have an S at the end of Eggers. Some people spell Egger without an S, but ours actually is with an S. And then I talked about the derogatory term niggers, excuse me, but I have to, because that's how they thought this out, and how they think they've put this in. And then the Robins have an S on the end of their name too. So, and then you have North and South, South Street, 2100 block, and then you have North and South, Civil War, and then North and South Korea, North and South Dakota, as in Ram, you know, and then you have North and South Carolina. So, yeah, but I think both sides of the family, people with S on the end of their name, meaning South as in Confederacy, and South versus North Korea, you know. And Soul is by K-Song, and So, basically, like I'm supposed to be in some sort of sweatshop that they keep me entrapped, sweatshop for entertainment industry or whatever, money laundering or whatever. I don't know. You know, I'm not even gonna get. That's not even the most important thing of the amendment, RICO and islands and all this other stuff. Being deserted on an island, messages in bottles, spin the bottle or dreidel, spin the bottle, you know, kissing mistletoe, and tic-tac-toe, and all that stuff I went through, and football. In football, you have the Vincent Lombardi Trophy. We have Vincent Price. Vincent Price always did scary movies, horror movies, and then you have Fisher Price Toys, and then you have Vincent Van Gogh, the art that I purchased while under hypnosis that everybody's seen, and then Vincent, there was another one, Vincent, I can't quite think of who the other one was, but basically they planned my life to be a horror, basically a nightmare, and pretty sick. I don't know, you know, my life, no clue, nothing was wrong, and then people then just suddenly out of nowhere, they wanted to use the phrase turn my world upside down. They use the phrase, we want to place the weight of the world on your shoulders, so they think they can kill me with something, because they actually desecrated my body, and they're trying to desecrate the flag along with my body, and my children as well. I'm not here to play your communist role, and I refuse to be your mute, you know, your mutant, or your mute, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm not sure where that came from, but the turtle shirt, and, you know, shell shock, and military related things, white glove tests, or white glove, you know, they're taught and trained to be very clean and tidy and neat, and, you know, bouncing quarters off their beds and things like that. If you're too fat in the military, when you go into boot camp, I heard that at Camp Pendleton, I'm not sure if this is for the USMC, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I've heard that they will paint stripes across your belly if you're too fat. Like if you have a pot belly. And then part of the boot camp training that you go through, I think it's 6 weeks. I'm not totally sure. It might be that. I'm not totally sure. But they will strap on a 40-pound backpack and make you swim. Do a lot of swimming and things like that. Jump off something and then swim and do all kinds of, like, you know, very intense things that you have to do when you go through boot camp. And they have used all these things on my life maliciously, you know, as I talked about backpack bombs and terrorism, and how they put a pacemaker in me, and I thought that was their plan, was to use a pacemaker and play terrorists with my life, and because they made me famous due to trickery, and they had maliciously done things to me to begin with, and it's scary, you know, living in the United States and having this happen to you, and then looking at my children and see how they repeated this. And they think they were going to kill my children to cover things up. I don't think so. You know, government doesn't do this to people. Government does not do this to people. And people working for government, no matter what status you have, you can't use that status to commit crimes against people and persons and premeditate and plan acts of war using citizens, and everybody knows about it. People started writing comedy sketches about this since the 70s because they knew about it. And it's very sad that they've misused my life this way, or they want to even misuse anybody's life this way. It's very sad, and it's very un-American. It's very un-American to use someone's life who is American-born citizen. You know, I'm so American. I asked for apple pie for my birthday about 5 years ago. I love apple pie, you know, and how my family was friends with Dorothy Ross and Leroy Ross, and they wanted to like beat me with the flag because Betsy Ross, and Leroy Ross was a war veteran, I believe, because he used to go to the Legionnaire Club here in Lincoln. And Dorothy Ross, she used to have a coin collection. She used to clean her coins. I remember that. And then they had plastic on their furniture, because lots of people did in the 70s. Or 60s and 70s. That was pretty common. And then the fact that, you know, the colors in the 5511 Quadrant Circle home. Well, standard colors for the 70s, around that time the house was built, orange and brown and greens were very popular in the 70s, early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, or this was the house I think was built in 1977, I think, and so, or right around then. But as I said, this was a premeditated act, and as I said, there's all kinds of evidence all over town, and I've only discussed just a fraction of it. There's so much that, you know, so much that went into the premeditation of this, and I've only, you know, talked about very little compared to if you came and looked at Lincoln, Nebraska as a whole, and be able to see everything, and then look at Nebraska and the state parks, and then, as I talked about, Yellowstone National Park, it's in the corner, and then you have the four corners. I can't remember. Colorado's one of the states it borders. Colorful Colorado is its state motto, and so on and so forth. So, you know, I remember when I was a little girl, I used to save up. I used to do chores around the house. I'd save up for like a month or two before the 4th of July because I loved the 4th of July. I would save up and do chores around the house and try to, you know, earn money. So one year I saved up like $40 or $50, and I bought this big assortment. I was just so excited about it. You know, all the girls in the neighborhood were tomboys because, you know, there was a lot of kids, and we used to go down the creek and with the boys, and then they'd get snakes and frogs and that sort of thing. They'd find those sort of things, and as I said, it's a leap year, and we used to have a pet toad named Tony that we got on the farm in Elk Creek. My great-grandma lived there, and he was named Tony, and Jody named him. My oldest sister, Jody, is older than me. She graduated in '88, and She actually she caught the toad. My dad used to go down there and get firewood, and that was when they got the toad. And I remember there was always bugs all over the barn, outside of the barn. And, you know, another name for barn door is a zipper in your pants, and then the whole liar, liar, pants on fire, and then burning bridges, and these people with their pits game, trying to get everybody to stab each other in the back, and, you know, creating this circle of turmoil and chaos to instill fear. And I believe their plan was to purposely use the No Fear Act under the CIA or something. I don't really know. I'm not really sure, but all I know is I suffer from symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder now, and, you know, I'm not responsible for things in my body, regardless of what they may be. And I can't help it. I can't get them out, and I can't help it. They were there before I got famous, because I was triggery, and I don't want to be, you know, and everybody knows it's not my fault, and that I wish I knew what to do about it, because I'm scared. So I just continued every day. You know, sometimes I send pains to my shoulders still. Once in a while there'll be pain in my pacemaker. They'll trigger that. They don't do that as much. It's usually the shoulders, and, like, you know, in foreign countries they'll cane people in the shoulders, like at school. And then I talked about the picture of me in SEC, and then Silence of the Lambs, and them trying to censor me, and no nonsense pantyhose and legs and all this other stuff. But I think people pretty much understand the story. You know, people knew about it. It was going to happen, what people had talked about doing, or, you know, had premeditated. And they know it's illegal, and they know it's not my fault. And there's been a lot of people that have been, I don't know, pretty supportive of me, that the people in the community that are educated and understand that, you know, what I have to endure, what I've had to endure because, and what my children have endured because of malicious acts from other people, with no respect or regard to other people in their lives, no respect for people wanting to live their own fates, and not be used as a tool or a weapon. American citizens being used as a tool or a weapon to hurt other people, and to be used as a weapon to try to instigate problems in society. I remember taking sociology and psychology classes, and this is opposite of what you do for society. It's opposite. And O Street, oppression, and the bridges on O Street, and Cook's Food, the one on West O, sits right next to Cook's Foods. It's old place. Cook's Food sits on by the new bridge out on West O, and the other bridge on O Street. Well, there's the one that I talked about, the glass pyramid one. It's a skywalk between 12th and 13th, and then the other one is 21st Street. It's a brand new bridge for the Antelope Valley project. The Valley, Nebraska is straight north by Fremont, and Valley is where they do the National Weather reports. National Weather Service is at. You know, Quell Valley Apartments, they've changed the name. Quell Valley, right next to Quell Ridge, and then their Valley Forge plans. Valley Forge documents, and Valley Forge war games and things like that. So, anyways, it's very, very sad. Very sad, and that people are this miserable with themselves that they'd have to hurt other people, you know, because I did take psychology, and the only reason why people ever hurt or do things to other people or premeditate such things is because they don't feel good about themselves. I was always taught that. That's fact of psychology. That's textbook psychology, is that people that want to hurt other people try to use them, you know, the textbook psychology is they hurt people because they've been abused, or, you know, they've hurt people, you know, they've been hurt in their life. That's why people typically do that, and that's not how you're supposed to do things in life. If you've been hurt in life, you're supposed to do opposite and learn from it, and not want to pass that on to other people. And you know, I'm not here, you know, NAMI, N-A-M-I, is the National Association for Mental Illness, and they want to play Vietnam games with my life, and the dates and the year, I think, you know, the dates and the time frame or whatever, in accordance with my birth date, or with I don't know, their numbers, their stupid numbers. So numbers and letters, snail mail, chain letters, chains and slavery, master locks, master slavery, and postmaster for the mail service. The government doesn't premeditate crimes against civilians and ship them off. They don't do that. Employees of the government cannot do that either. Act your age, you know, the whole pre-Scott thing. Act your preschool, pre-Scott, act your age, not your shoe size. I'm very mature. I'm an adult. I've tried everything to be nice, especially in the beginning, and then, you know, as I said, the abuse got worse and worse and worse and worse. So, after so much abuse and premeditation of evidences and abuse and abuse and abuse, I have the right to use my First Amendment rights to protect myself, as I've done nothing wrong. All I want is a normal life just like everybody else. And people have taken that from me. They've stole that from me maliciously and wanted to use me as a weapon, because they're disgracing the country. I'm not the disgrace to this country. You are.